I have never been quite this excited to make a video. It's happening, everybody. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Justy, and oh my god, are we in for a treat today? This video has been months of planning, of watching shows, of making charts, and it's finally here. It is finally happening. Today, we are going to rank every single MCU father. Now you may be wondering, Justine, why are we in this weird corner if we're doing a tier ranking list? Good question. Ta-da! We've done computer tier lists. It's happened. We're over it. I decided I wanted a physical dad tier list because nothing is going to be as satisfying as smacking on some of these photos. So that's what we're doing today. This idea originally came to me when we were doing a rewatch of the MCU so Anya could get caught up on any that she had missed, and I realized there's a lot of dads in these movies, and a lot of them suck. At the top, we have the god level dad. This is like the best of the best. You are gonna have an amazing time with this dad. You're coming out of this relationship so freaking healthy. There is an amazing father right here in this tier. Our second tier, you're coming out of this relationship with minimum trauma. And why is this the only one that isn't capitalized? Because I have no consistency when I'm doing arts and crafts. No other reason than that. This is a dad that did pretty good. You guys have got a pretty good relationship. Overall, I think this is a pretty, as judged by the tiers, above average father, but just not the best of the best. In the middle, we have the meh tier. The meh, you did fine. You didn't totally scar the child. You didn't totally make their life super easy. Your kid's gonna be fine. You're fine. It's all fine. It's all very meh. Below meh, we have so much trauma. You did not do so good. You're not the worst of the worst fathers, but you certainly could have done way better. And your kid's probably a little messed up. And the last tier, this construction set didn't come with red, so it's orange. We have horrific father, just the worst. No other way to say it, literally the worst fathers. Your kid's not all right. Before we proceed, let's just set up a little ground rules, I guess. 1, this is absolutely just for fun. I'm ranking fictional characters. It's very silly. It's completely based on my opinion and what I saw in the shows. We're just out here having a ridiculous time. That's it. 2, there are a lot of dads. I said that earlier. So I had to do some parameters to try and keep this from being a little ridiculous. The first one is your child had to be mentioned, or you had to be mentioned as the father pretty explicitly. For example, Isaiah in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, while very likely had a child, we never ever discussed the child or his time with or without the child. It's possible he was in prison the entire time his child was growing up or anything like that. We just don't know. So I can't accurately judge his fatherness, really, so he would be left out of this list. Another type of father out of this list is the father figure. Now, not that there's anything wrong with father figures, those are very important, and I respect anyone who has one, and that is the most important relationship in their life, but there's a lot of father figures in the MCU, and we really had to cut this off somewhere. So for example, someone like Obadiah to Tony would not be on this list because he is a father figure. Now, if the child figure in this relationship, I don't know what to call it, does at some point refer to them as dad or father or something like that, that does then earn them a spot on this list, but if they don't say it, it doesn't count. And lastly, any side, like we see them in a battle, a dad protecting his kid, or something very small like that, do not make it on this list. It's not enough for me to accurately judge what type of father they are, and again, it would just be too much. So that's our father requirements. now that we got that out of the way, let's start tearing. Okay, I've made my little father cutouts. I'm gonna grab them at random so we kind of get a bit of everything all the time, and we're gonna start judging dads. First up, we have Vision from WandaVision. This one is very easy. I knew what this was gonna be. This is a God level dad. He's our first one. He's great. He's great with his kids. I think Billy and Tommy would have been great had they been real. I don't think he would have caused any serious issues. Good boy. Here we have Drax, gotten his dadship in the Guardians film. Now, this one's a little harder because we just have Drax stories about his daughter. But from the stories, he does seem like a particularly pretty good dad. It is concerning that he went on a murderous rampage following what happened. And I'm gonna feel like this for a lot of these people. I can never understand what it is like to lose a child. But I think there's a lot of people out there who don't go on murderous rampages when their child has something very unfortunate happen to them. So I don't know. But he spoke beautifully of her. It sounded like they had a good relationship. He was very loving and respectful of his wife, which I think is phenomenal. I think that's a very good sign as well. So I don't think I have enough information to give him God level dad, and I think that might be a little much for him. But I do think his daughter would have come out pretty good from this relationship. So we're gonna give him the minimum trauma tier. Nice. We have Talos from Captain Marvel. He seems like a really great dad. He was so committed to getting back to his family. Nothing was gonna stop him. Seems like a pretty darn nice guy, honestly. I don't know if I've seen enough to give him God level. Maybe the next time we see him in a film, he'll earn that. I think he's not quite there for me yet. So we're gonna put him in the minimum trauma tier. He's doing a really great job. Okay, we have Howard Stark, who first earned his dad status in Iron Man. Now I know this obviously isn't the Iron Man photo, but this is the most attractive version of Howard Stark, so that's why I picked it. Sorry guys, Howard Stark kind of sucks as a dad. He's caused Tony a lot of trauma. He's messed him up. We've seen it. He definitely cared more about Captain America than Tony Stark, and you can't play me in this like Endgame going back to see him, like Iron Man 2 leaving him this neutron to figure out. No, he was not a great dad. He didn't respect Tony enough, didn't give him enough attention. Rich dads tend to be like this. So sorry dude, you're our first pretty bad dad. Scott Lang, dadified in Ant-Man. This one's easy. This is a God level dad. He loves Cassie so much. He built her a whole heist in his house. Oh my God, and the first thing he did upon coming back was look for Cassie. Is it a little concerning that he did decide to like rob a business, which he knew would probably end him up in jail while he has a daughter? Yes, I did think about that. I did factor that in, but Cassie still seems to be doing pretty well. She's very healthy. She's very well adjusted. She loves her dad, so he gets to stay in the God level tier, and I will not be accepting any feedback on that. It's where he belongs, and he's staying there. We have Yondu given dad status in Guardians 2. This is one of those father figures that almost didn't make it, but then Peter does call him father, or dad, I guess technically is the word he uses at the end of the movie. And this one also very, very easy. He sucks as a dad. He threatened to eat his child many times. And technically got him as a child because he kidnapped him, although he did save him from Ego. I get that, but like still, not a great start. And you can give him all the advice about controlling his god powers you want. You still were not that great, buddy, so sucks to suck. Anton Vanko from Iron Man 2. I'm sorry, this guy is not a great dad. He messed up his kid. His kid is clearly a genius. Could have been inventing his own tech and lived a great life, and instead gave him this weird obsession with attacking Tony Stark, who hadn't even done anything. It was Howard Stark's fault. I mean, he also technically, I guess, I can't remember the exact, but he was stealing or doing something. That's the reason he fired him. Now, Howard could be a liar, but I don't think he has any particular reason to lie about this specific situation. But you know, we don't trust him. But still, you should have just encouraged your kid to like do his own thing, not be obsessed with Tony Stark his whole life. We have Elias Starr from Ant-Man 2. What did he do? Hold up. He also got sent away, this time from Hank Pym. And then definitely is the reason his daughter got so messed up. So, yeah. Also not a great dad. Sorry, I don't have a lot to say about him. I tried to like remember as much about these characters as I could through each film, but it has been a long time since we saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I'm sorry to everybody who likes it. I wanted to like it so much. It is one of the most boring MCU movies. So I have a really hard time recalling everything about it. But not a great dad. I think he could have maybe been meh. Nah, he stays here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to pronounce that first name. But this is the Nova Corps guy, and he got his dad status from Guardians. Now we see his daughter. We don't kind of like ever get him talking to her, but just judging on like who he is as a person, that hug between them that was so beautiful at the end, I'm gonna put him here. I again haven't seen enough to give him God status or anything, but he seems like a pretty good dad. He seems very affectionate. He cares a lot about her, and overall seems like a pretty good guy based on how he interacts with Star-Lord. So here he is, Dreykov from the Black Widow movie. This guy sucks. This is a horrific father. There's nothing good about him. I hate this man. He's terrible and absolutely deserves to belong in this tier, and it felt so good smacking him in there. Our first horrific father. Njobu from Black Panther. Now this is Killmonger's father, and his son did turn into what he turned into, which is not great. He clearly did really love his son. He wanted him to be able to go back to Wakanda. Do I think it was a good idea to start stealing from Wakanda if that was his plan? No, but I do see what he was getting at, the fact that they, weren't helping the outside world. But I mean, selling stuff to bad guys is not really the way to go about doing that, I don't think. But his son clearly does love him, really wants to avenge his dad. I think he could have instilled healthier coping mechanisms. So he's gonna be our first meh father. I think given more time, he could have done better, and I think he made some poor decisions, but he's definitely not quite the level of some of these guys. So we have Hank Pym from Ant-Man. I'm trying really hard not to let what I know about him in the comics influence this decision, because he would be down here. But unfortunately, judging by, again, also because this guy's down here, I unfortunately in the MCU don't think he is as bad as Dreykov. So we're gonna give him this really bad tier list. He definitely didn't do great by Hope. Maybe shutting your daughter out is not like the best way to deal with your trauma. And Hank Pym just sucks. I hate him, and he belongs down here. Bad man. Adrian Toomes from Homecoming. Things are not great for his daughter at the end of this film, but I don't think he's quite as bad as some of the other ones. He does very much love his family. He seems very good to them at home when we see them. His daughter clearly really loves him. Is it gonna mess her up a little bit that he's now in jail and it turned out that her father was a criminal? I think, well, yeah, she's clearly very upset, has to uproot her whole life. But he also is kind of being a bit of an upstanding guy in prison by protecting Peter. I think she'll be okay. It's a very weird thing to judge. Anyways, I think he is also a meh father. He definitely could have done better, but I don't think he's as bad as some of these other guys, so he goes in meh. We have Thanos, first dadified in the Guardians film as well. Bad man. Thanos sucks. You can't tell me one good thing about him being a dad, and if you try, honestly, you can get out of here. He was horrific, he's emotionally abusive, he's physically abusive. This man is trying to destroy half the universe because he thinks he's in the right. This is a horrible father, he's stealing kids. I don't care if outside of Nebula and Gamora they seem to like him. That's called brainwashing, that's called Stockholm Syndrome. He is a horrific father and should not be allowed near children, ever. Ever, 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 ever. We have Rocket Raccoon, Guardians 2. This one was another just squeaked by, but apparently they have said that in Infinity War, when Groot calls out as he's dusting away, he does say it as dad. Here's the thing, Rocket Raccoon is a bit of a grump, but he does do pretty well with Groot. And Groot seems to really love him. He takes the time to teach him about the buttons. I mean, sure, he's frustrated, but what parent wouldn't be at that point? And I think Groot seems to be doing pretty well as we see him grow from like baby to teen to whatever. Sure, he's a little grumpy. What teen isn't? I was a very grumpy teen. So I'm gonna give him minimum trauma. He seems to be doing pretty well, all things considered. Groot seems pretty well adjusted. Yeah. This is like an iffy though. I was really debating this one. He could be like right on the line between these two. We have Zemo from Civil War. I had a bit of a think with this one. We never see him officially interact with his child, but this is another one of a dad who's going on a bit of a murder rampage because of what happened to his child. And once again, I'll say, I don't know what it's like to lose a child, but murder rampages are never okay. And he's a very, very rich man, which makes me think maybe he wasn't the awesomest dad. Like, sure, I bet he loved his kid, but like, did he have a bunch of nannies? Likely. He's got his weird butler thing. So I kind of want to say he's down here, but I guess I really technically don't have enough evidence like with some of these other ones, which means I kind of got to be fair. I don't think his kid would have been super great. So he's going to be another meh. Now I'm rethinking it. No, we saw how he was with the kids in Falcon and the Winter Soldier though. Like, okay. No, I feel like this is too high for him. He's not a good he does have a moral code though. Oh my God. This is so stressful. Okay, yeah, no. We're gonna keep him in meh. I don't have enough proof that his kid is great after this, and I honestly don't think he was that attentive of a father. I think he's more attentive now because his son unfortunately died. I just don't trust it. He's got too much money. No. Harley's dad from Iron Man 3, which we never see a picture of, so that's why he looks like this. Yeah, this guy sucks. It's easy, super easy. Left his kid, didn't come back. That's not great. I unfortunately can't put him down here because I just don't think he's at the same level as a guy trying to destroy half the universe, but he is certainly not a good dad. We have Oleg, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Oleg, from WandaVision. He seems fine. Wanda and Pietro seem to really love him. He's got his little DVDs that he plays for his kids. I don't have enough to put him at God level, but he seems like a good dad. And Wanda seems like a great child, so he raised a good daughter, I guess. Pietro's fine too, but he's better in the other movies. Paul Wilson, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This is Sam's father, unfortunately another one we don't actually get to see. I think this guy would have been an amazing father. Look how Sam and Sarah turned out. The whole neighborhood loves them and rallied together to come and help them out, both because they like Sam and Sarah and for the memory of this guy and his wife. I just believe he would have been a really, really great dad. So he gets to be a God-level dad too. General Ross from The Incredible Hulk. This guy sucks hard and you can't tell me otherwise. I'm gonna put him down in the horrific father level. Do I think he's quite as bad as these two? No. But he definitely was okay with possibly killing his daughter to get Bruce Banner. And that's a problem. So this guy sucks. He should not be a dad, and I hate him. We have Laufey from Thor. Now, we don't see a lot of him as a dad. Odin does tell us that Loki was left out to die as a runt, and I don't know if I 100% trust Odin. Odin could have stolen him, but it does seem likely, and this guy is ready to just like kill on sight and is very, very into starting wars, so also believable. So I think he is also a horrific father. If he did leave his son out in the frost to just die, that's not cool, dude. How could you do that to Loki? Rude. We had Ego from Guardians 2. Another very easy one. This is a horrific father. Definitely worse than Yondu, but I tell you, Quill's not doing great in the dad department. He definitely okay to kill his children, wants to take over the universe, killed Quill's mom. Not good, very bad man, should not be a father. He's trash. We have T'Chaka from Civil War. Now this is the first king. This is our father of the Black Panther. He seems like he's pretty good. I don't like the decisions he made with his brother and his brother's son. That was not cool, but it doesn't directly relate to how he raised his son, who really loves, respects him. His daughter loves him, wife, and the whole kingdom really misses this guy, which shows kind of what kind of king he was. So I do think he was a pretty good father. I don't know. Yeah, we can give him God tier. Look at T'Challa. He is so great. I think he was a great dad. Made some really bad decisions in life otherwise. Alexei from Black Widow. No, he sucks. It was all fake. He let this bad man take his daughters, quote unquote, if that's how he really felt, and is very self-obsessed. I don't think he's a great dad at all. In fact, I think he's a very bad dad. So, Clint from Age of Ultron. Now I hate this family they wrote for him. I want to make that very clear, but unfortunately it's there. This is another gentleman who went on a murderous rampage after his family died, and again, can't understand what that feels like. Still not good. His kids really do like them. He's done a lot of work to keep them safe, to keep them off the radar. Nobody even knows they exist. They've got a nice little farm. He's teaching his daughter how to shoot. I don't like the family thing, but unfortunately I do have to admit he is portrayed as a pretty good dad until he starts killing a bunch of people. That's not cool. We have Lamar's dad from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm sorry for the really terrible photo. There's no photos online, so I had to take a screen cap from the episode, and I turned my laptop up literally as bright as I could. That scene is still so dark. So this is the best of what we got right now, and I'm sorry. This guy clearly really, really loves his son and is very upset that his son has been killed. I don't think some of the things he said to John afterwards indicate some really healthy thinking, and I don't know if that's just because of the current grief or if that's a bit of who he is. I don't really have the proof. So at this point, Lamar, all things considered, seemed pretty well adjusted, and he clearly really loves his son. So he is a minimum trauma father. We have Joseph Danvers from Captain Marvel. This is a garbage dad. He goes down here. Not good to Carol. Actually, seems pretty abusive and shouldn't be a father. So, bad man. We have Odin from Thor. I don't like what this man did to Loki at all. But I unfortunately don't think I can put it in quite the same level as these guys. He didn't leave him outside to die. He didn't actively try to kill his children. Odin at one point, although he did banish Hela. Hela. I'm sorry. I don't care. People questioned and said that I shouldn't do this, but I'm doing it. I don't think he's a good dad. Sure, maybe Thor turned out okay, but the rest of his kids really didn't, which says something. That's not great odds, 1 out of 3. I'm just not feeling it. He turned his daughter into a murder weapon, and then when she got too murderous, he locked her away. That's messed up. And Loki needed him, and he decided to just go to sleep? No, Odin, I'm sorry. You're not as bad as some of these other guys, but you suck, and I don't like you. M'Baku from Black Panther. This guy rules. He seems to have a very good moral code. He's funny. I have never met his kids, but he's talked about them. He's gonna feed Martin Freeman to them. And just judging on who he is and how he talks about them, and actually the respect he gave the trial to become king, and I think the respect he gives to T'Challa in the end, I actually really do respect him. I think he's a good person, which means I think he's a really great dad. So we're gonna give him God level dad. I think his kids are doing great. I'd like to see them one day. We got Tony Stark, officially a dad in Endgame. Okay, first thing we're gonna say, he is not as bad as his father. He's trying really hard. Morgan seems to be doing really well. And I can't necessarily fault him for literally trying to save the entire universe. It is very sad that Morgan no longer has her father, but it's not something frivolous. I don't think I can punish him for that. I don't know if I'd give him a God level dad. I don't think he's perfect, just as he's not perfect in any aspect of his life that we've seen. So I am going to put him in the minimum level. He's doing pretty well. He's better than some of these other guys, but I just don't think he's earned God level. I'm sorry, their relationship's very cute. You can love it. I love it. I think it's great. I just don't think he's up here. And our very last father is Yori from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now this is a dad who unfortunately lost his son and has not gone on a murderous rampage, so clearly it can be done. He seems to really, really love his son. We obviously don't have any interactions of them, unfortunately, when his son was alive, but his son is very, very important to him, clearly. He misses him a lot. Just wants to know what happened to him, and I think, honestly, I don't think I have enough, again, to give him a God-level dad, personally, because he does seem like he has a bit of a temper, and now I'm not saying that directly came out on his children, but that can affect things with your children. So we're gonna give him a minimum. I think he was doing a really, really great job, and if I got to see more of their relationship, maybe he'd move around. But he's doing pretty good, all things considered. And there's my tier list. This has obviously been highly scientific. I clearly know all there is to know about being a dad. So tell me what you think. Do you agree with any of my choices? Do you really disagree with any of my choices? I would very much also like to hear about the disagrees. Those are always interesting. Although I'll tell you now, you're not gonna change my opinion. You can share it, but this is what I believe. I would also love to see other people make this tier list. It's so stupid and specific. I just think it would be really funny. So if you do, please let me know. You can tag me on Twitter. You'd have to make your own on like the website, but I've shown you all the dads. It's easy. I am seriously so happy I got to make this stupid video. I've been thinking about it forever. I love ranking things. I don't know what it is. All right, everybody, I am going to take this down off my door after ages and ages of work. It is unfortunately have to go. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.